Being Brazilian is not a statement for us, it's just a situation.
It's like being a Swedish band. They don't speak English, but there are many Swedish bands that are like rock bands or pop bands that just sing in English.
On Enemy, there was like this letter saying, oh, I'm tired of reading you guys speaking about CSS and saying the Brazilian sky racism. This is racism, you should stop doing that. You're just a band.
Like it's because we sing in English and we do a kind of music that's not Brazilian because we grew up listening to rock music.
Sub pop
English
bands,
band is still band, sub pop band. So
we had no idea, like, oh, we're doing, let's do this. It's so revolutionary, or it just happened.
There are no bands like us in Brazil. We're not from the musical scene in Brazil because it's really boring, the music scene in Brazil. They're really stupid bands, most. I can say because I had a lot of other bands that, you know, people are really like, oh, you cannot do that because a band would never do that, you know, and say, why not, you know? Like people in Brazil, they make bands and go, oh, we should, you know, I have 3 bands, garage punk band, noise band, disco punk band, you know?
It's very thematic.
It's basically, let's make a band that like Ramones, like the Ramones. We already have a Ramones. Why would someone make another band to, you know, to dress like Ramones and have that Ramones attitude? It's so stupid. When we formed the band, that I want to start from scratch. We all like exchange instruments sometimes.
You're the bassist?
You know? Yeah, now I play the bass because I used to play the
bassist is usually the most quiet person in the band.
I used to play the drums, but I hate it.
I think we were all were a bit of the outcasts in our schools, and I think it's a good thing because I think that if I got along with the people I wanted to get along, maybe I wouldn't be here today. Maybe I wouldn't have a kid and live in the Campinas still. So it was good to not be liked so much.
Understood.
I was like 15, and then I got like into all this girl band that I really like. Girl bands.
Such as?
Oh, such as Holo 7, The Brothers. I always like all these bands that has a girl that's a bass player.
What do you think of Courtney Love? If you both said you liked Hole.
I like her very much. I think I like her very much.
Basically, I went to art school and I get very bored of the artwork, frustrated and just doing for the money. And I joined the band and now I'm happy.
I went to Europe right when I graduated, so I got so happy. When I came back, I had this huge depression for like almost 10 years, so I got into art school. And that's when I met them. I didn't have any expectations.
Like, wasn't fighting to be in a band, a successful band. You know, like we got together as friends and not as people wanting a job.
Things came to us, and we were just like
Enjoying.
going with the flow. We didn't have.
It's not that we had an ambition of becoming a successful
Never?
band. No.
Things, like great things happen and we're like, this is the top. This is the top. Like you never expect more and more and more.
Yeah, the thing is like we spend lots of time in UK and then you get to see bands in there, and when they first start they already have a lawyer, a manager, an accountant, and they already have like a page on NME, and people are just so crazy about like getting it right and becoming part of the music industry, because there is one there, and in Brazil everything is so nothing really works. You can never expect to make a living out of from being in a band. And then since everything was so natural for us, and comparing to maybe here in America and in England, we took a long time, but for us it wasn't, because it was so intense. And we really never expected. We had other ambitions in life, like we had other jobs, we had other things, and then the band became our main.
Everyone was friends with someone.
Friends with friends with friends, you know. So
I know him, like he knows me for like 10 years, ever since I was 15.
And we lived together, so like we're all like part.
You two are a couple? Okay.
Roommates.
Is anybody here a couple? Alright.
But see, we're like, I remember when I came to the first rehearsal, I knew that Adriano was there, and I was very nervous because Adriano has so many bands, and I watched
Oh, really?
him playing so many times. And then I was like, Adriano's going to be there. Very nervous.
What kind of gigs were you playing?
Street homes, so like basically street homes, like really small place with no sound structure
We played
at all.
the first show was in a designer
A vintage furniture
store, and one guitar wasn't even plugged on an amp, it was direct.
Really?
Yeah, and it was just like completely
It's like I said,
DIY, like messy and punk rock.
in Brazil, like don't have much money to buy art or to in all senses. So it's not really.
No,
a
even
place that has,
even the
like,
venues, they don't invest.
Yeah,
they don't
it's
invest
not.
their money in infrastructure.
But maybe that's a good thing.
Go
It's
watch.
like
After
it's a
10
good
shows, you're like,
It's a third world country.
like
Not for long. You just found all this oil. Everything's
I don't want to work
changed.
with oil, sorry.
Culture is not self-supportable in Brazil. You cannot live out of an underground band or underground anything.
The biggest art thing in Brazil is called advertisements. That's
Yeah.
what I did, and I was an alcoholic because I was really unhappy. Yeah, I made loads of money and I spent loads of money with drugs and alcohol. Basically more alcohol than drugs because I didn't like doing drugs. But my escape valve was making my music, and now I'm here. I don't make as much money as I used to make, but I'm much happier,
Yeah.
and I'm not an alcoholic anymore.
Do you guys smoke weed? Because you have this amazing line. It's going to take a pound to make me feel better. Who wrote that line? Who writes the lyrics?
We never wrote this.
Do better.
Or there's something like, I'm going to
It's
need
like
a
this, you're
pound.
so fast, I'm so slow, because that's the way I like to roll.
Maybe. But somewhere along the way, somebody says, I'm so sad. It's going to take a pound or...
Oh, this is how I became paranoid.
£1,000,000.
How I became paranoid.
Pounds will be enough.
Uh-huh. What, yeah, what is... I thought it was like, I need 1,000,000 pounds of weed
No, the-
before I'm happy again.
Pounds is like British pounds.
Oh, Sterling, UK. Ah, gotcha. I really kind of like it.
Now at the moment I'm listening a lot to the new Titty and the Wall album. I love Titty and the Wall, and MGMT. I really like it. We
I'm so
toured with
proud
them.
with them.
We played a couple of shows with them, and it was amazing.
You were a supporter with a support.
There was
Yeah.
It wasn't our own tour,
That-
it was an
yeah.
MTV tour, and we were the first slot, we were the last one, but we didn't pick any of the bands, it was the MTV tour.
Yeah.
Like in England, like at Reading Festival, I've never seen anything like that. People were stage diving from the back until the front, and just crazy. It was the-
Benica seems
Yeah.
crazy.
Like everywhere you could see people, there was people.
And even in Japan, because we played twice in Japan, and people said, "Oh, Japan crowd is very polite."
Reserved,
It was
yeah.
the same. People like crowd surfing, and it was really.
You don't have to sound check, you just get there and
You don't have to
Like-
sound check at festivals?
you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You
There's no
guys-
time.
You just-
to
Really?
just go.
So it's not. You just.
You pray and you go.
And it's all energy. It's very very
Yeah.
high energy because you just have to go with it.
I hear. So last summer, did you play a lot of festivals?
It's
Last
Reading.
very ready.
Summer Sonic.
By the end of the year, we got like this plaque. That's what he called it.
A plaque?
From our agency that said CSS, the most hardworking band of 2007, like 190 shows in 30 years. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We
When-
had a show almost every day. Every other day we played, so it was really crazy.
We played in Brazil last year in November, and it was our first time playing there since we started touring abroad. And then we were all very nervous for this show, but then it was a festival. But then when we got on stage, it just looked like any other festival, this high energy, and just like people having the time of their lives. Also because in Brazil you don't have that many festivals. But
And it's been like almost 2 years that we didn't play there,
Yeah.
so it was really, really.
Really.
I was really amazed.